On today's episode of Sawdust, we're going to talk a little bit about soundproofing and more specifically sound transmission. So we're at a project that we built about 3 years ago, and the owners had a specific request to make sure that we soundproof between floors, which we did with rock wool. This floor has 1.5 inches of concrete, but what we did was we put sleepers down so that way we could nail into the sleepers. So we use that for radiant. But apparently there's a better way, which we've since learned, and that is with the use of a sound mat and an application of Gyp-Crete. Gyp-Crete is a liquid-based, self-leveling product. It's gypsum-based, mixes with water. You pump it in, and it's got great soundproofing properties. It adds a layer of insulation, and it also is a fire retardant. So the thing about Gypcrete is it's poured on top of the underlayment, so it adds a little bit of weight, so you have to make sure that you size your joists accordingly. Not a lot of weight, but certainly a few pounds per square foot. And then in terms of cost, it adds about $3 to $4 per square foot, but the results are remarkable, which we'll soon discover.
I'm Jeff Sweenor, President and CEO of Sweenor Builders. For more than 30 years, we've been building coastal homes meant to last 100+ years. Our team of talented craftsmen and design professionals are committed to delivering extraordinary results through the best practices and techniques in custom home building. Our final product has to be beautiful, highly efficient, and use advanced building science to stand up to the harsh coastal conditions. On this season of Sawdust, we're pulling back the curtain to give you an inside look at what we do.
So even though we used rock wool to separate floor to floor here, you can still pick up the sound pretty easily of somebody walking upstairs with heels on. On that hardwood floor, it's really telegraphing into this space. So the purpose of the Gypcrete is to isolate that and create that sound barrier between floors. So we're going to take you to one of our newer builds, a project that we're working on right now, that we're going to use Gypcrete on the second floor for this soundproofing quality. And we've enlisted Kevin Hoey from Flooring Solutions, and he's going to show you how we went about this.
My name is Kevin Hoey with Flooring Solutions. We're here at Sweenor Builders' new home in Narragansett, Rhode Island. We are the company that's installing the Gyp-Crete and the sound mat. Believe it or not, this is a one-day job and it gives the homeowner some great protection. The process is installing an 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch sound mat, and then going over the top of that with a floating floor of gypsum underlayment that goes down at approximately 3/4 of an inch to an inch, depending upon what the elevation needs are. Installing the Gypcrete and the sound mat reduces the sound substantially. It also helps prevent fire from expanding from one floor to another. So the first step is putting down the sound mat and putting isolation strip on the walls, which also reduces the sound from room to room. And then we will pump the Gypcrete in via a diesel pump. Believe it or not, the diesel pumps about 100 bags an hour. Gyp-Crete will give off quite a bit of moisture when it first releases and it starts to dry. Humidity always impacts it, but they've done a great job here with air conditioning the home. That will make sure none of that affects any of the other finishes in the home. This is a unique situation for us. There are very few builders that go through this effort, and it's really a bonus to the homeowners. The homeowner will really enjoy the sound and the cushion feeling on the floor because we've created a surface that's floating above the existing plywood. And you don't see this in many homes. This is very unique. Really, I don't do anybody else that does it besides Sweener.
We're back here at our 11,000 square foot oceanfront home to go over the Gyp-Crete product and how we went about finishing it. So the main intention behind using the Gyp-Crete here at our oceanfront home was for the sound performance. Here we're mitigating the sound by using an array of products. We started by, under our hardwoods, we have Gyp-Crete. That works in tandem with the sound mat that works underneath that. Then we have our plywood subfloor, but underneath that we also use an additional product. Between our joist bays, we use rock wool. Now the rock wool gives us additional sound attenuation as well as fire protection, but it also helps because we have a lot of subwoofers and speakers in the ceiling below, so it kind of keeps to trap that sound to the direction it wants to go rather than permeate into the floor. Right now we have a team below they're cutting with saws, they're banging with hammers, they're banging away, and typically you'd have that sound going right to the floor. Well, now with this, we're recording here and you can't hear a sound they're making, and they're working directly right below us at this time. To finish over our Gyp-Crete, we went with a 3/4 inch by 8 inch unfinished engineered floor. This floor has a Baltic birch core with a 5mm wear layer. I personally like the unfinished floor because when we lay it down, then we sand it all as one piece. It really gives like a tabletop furniture-like finish. One of the challenging parts of installing the hardwood floors to a Gyp-Crete is getting it laid down. We have a gypsum and concrete base underneath wood flooring, so we can't use a typical flooring nail. Here we use the Bonner Quantum R851 silane base flooring adhesive. Modified silanes are a one-component adhesive that react and cure under the action of moisture. Once they cure, they have the elasticity and the strength of your typical elastometric material. The reason we have to use the adhesive here to attach the floor to the Gyp-Crete is your typical staple or nail solution wouldn't work here. When we shot a nail or staple in, it would bend upon impacting the Gyp-Crete, and it would probably also chip some of the Gyp-Crete away. That's the purpose of the glue here. It gives a tight bond to the floor. Now that the flooring is down, we're just about complete here. What we've done is we've sanded the flooring and we've done the first coat so we can lay all of our trimmer on the outside and not have to worry about areas not finished. Once we've completely finished this project, the painting's all done in here. The hardwood floor guys will come in one more time, they'll buff the floors and give us 2 final coats of finish.
So now you've seen the process of adding Gyp-Crete, and you see the end result being a much quieter transmission of sound between one floor and the other, It actually gives you a little bit of cushion too, because that Gyp-Crete has got a little bit more give than, say, plywood. You can see that the process takes a little bit of work, and it adds 3/4 of an inch, which you have to be accounting for right from the beginning. So your rough openings, your heights, your fixture heights, all of those things have to be planned into this elevation change. The other thing that you have to do if you're going to use hardwood is you've got to glue down that hardwood as opposed to nail down. So that adds a little bit of labor in that respect as well. It's not something that you see in many residential builds, but we feel that the difference in sound attenuation from floor to floor is definitely something worthwhile. Thanks for watching this episode of Sawdust. Hit the subscribe button, give us a like, give us a comment, and we'll see you on a future episode of Sawdust.